It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. It's game day, regular season game day. Nielsen and Gazzola with you, as always. The Oil Stream brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, and nothing says drop the puck on the regular season more or better than a delicious Popeye's chicken sandwich available at almost 24 locations, including the new location, of course, locked and loaded in West Edmonton Mall. And if you just want to sit at home and watch a hockey game tonight, you still want to get your hands on some delicious Popeye's chicken, DoorDash, skip the dishes, Uber Eats. Tommy, looking good, buddy.
Thank you so much, Dusty. You got to bring it for game one. And I just want to follow up the Popeye's game day chicken sandwich thing because you can get it for an exceptional price as opposed to going to an Oilers game and now paying, I think it's $55 for 2 burgers, 2 bags of chips, 2 pops, and 2 popcorns. Did I see that right?
No, that doesn't even include popcorn, buddy. It is.
Oh my God.
So it's for $36. If you're going to the game tonight, you can get 2 popcorns and 2 pops. $36.
Wow.
If you want 2 burgers, 2 bags of chips, 2 pop, $55. It's quite something, buddy.
A bit much.
It's crazy. Like,
I know.
If I wanted to take my family of 4 and we were gonna have pops and burgers, it's $110 to eat dinner at the game, not including like everything else just to get in. So I get it. I mean, I know some people are like things are really expensive, but you're paying a premium to watch Connor McDavid while you eat a hamburger. Simply, that's what it is, right? I mean. Yeah.
Hey, there's some great game day specials in and around the arena at a bunch of fantastic restaurants. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, there's a few different options. In fact, there's a Boston Pizza right across the corner from it, right? So if you want to go hit up the Boston Pizza, we'll eventually find our way down there for a live episode, that's for sure. But we've got lots to get to, Tommy. Hey, if you're watching on the live stream, 2 things. Subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And, of course, if you ever have any questions or you want to chime in what we're talking about, if you're watching on Twitter, a little say something at the bottom there. You can chime in there as well. Streaming live on YouTube as well. If you're a YouTuber, you can hop over there. I don't have the YouTube feed up, but you can fire us some questions on there. We can certainly get to them a little bit later on. Let's get to a ring report, Tommy. I'm pretty sure you weren't just hanging around at your house dressed like this. So what's going on down at the ring today?
Okay, so Yamamoto, I mean, he is a game time decision, but he didn't look like he was participating with any of the lines. So we saw Devon Shore at the rink skating with the team. He was with Malone and Ryan. I think Fogel's good to go. And outside of that, no other surprises from the Oilers. So
it does look like they'll be able to have a full lineup tonight then, buddy?
Yeah, that's what I expect. I mean, Warren Foegele, okay. I know Woodcroft threw out the, hey, he's a game time decision, but the guy's been skating with his line for the last few days.
For a few days, right? So that would be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird. So I fully expect them to have a full lineup. Just the one guy, Yamamoto, a little bit banged up. I'm hearing it's a shoulder issue right now, Dusty.
Well, that would make sense considering the way he went down heavily into the boards. And you know what? With the depth that they have at forward right now, you probably don't want to rush it because of shoulder issue. We've seen it with the Oilers in the past, back with like rebuild 1.0. Shoulder issues can cause some major concerns. Just ask Nugent Hopkins, ask Connor. I mean, there's a bunch of guys in this lineup that have dealt with Clefbaum. Yeah, obviously Clefbaum. Yeah. So no real reason to push heavily. I think, if he's like, might need another day or two, then hell, give him another day or two. You'll probably be okay. But outside of that, I mean, it's looking pretty good. All the big guys are healthy, ready to go. And Tommy, I would have to think overall, inside this market, outside this market, pretty good vibes around this team. In the end, none of that matters. What do you think the expectations are, and how do you think they're handling those expectations from within that group so far?
Okay, within the group, at least from being around them for so long and knowing these guys and watching them progress and mature as they've gotten older and become veteran hockey players in the National Hockey League, there's a difference between them in 2017 to them right now, at least in their demeanor. It's a quiet confidence as opposed to the swagger that they had going into 17-18, which they completely did a faceplant on, as we witnessed for the next 2 years. So I think that there's an understanding of what it takes to get back there. And there was a lesson in what they accomplished last season. So they know they have a good team. It's a matter of going out there and showing everyone they're a good team and not taking any shifts off the old cliches. But it comes down to that because they got caught doing that a few years ago and it set them back. So there's this quiet confidence. The expectation, I think, we as media expect them to be right at the top of the Pacific Division, understandably so.
If they don't make it back to a conference final, I think it would be disappointing for everybody involved.
And that's understandable, but like it's hard to get past the second round and you're playing against a really good team. And there probably would be that discussion if they don't get back to the conference final. But I think if you don't get to the second round, it's a major disappointment. And you're wondering, what went wrong and you have to fix things.
At that point, you'd be wondering where you went wrong. If they lose in the second round, you're disappointed, but you're like, probably lost to a really good hockey team.
Yeah.
Maybe a few things went wrong along the way. There were a different level of disappointment. I still think, though, if they end up losing the second round, considering, a lot of the hype around this team overall, I know Connor McDavid would probably be disappointed if they lose in the second round.
Of course. And the fan base, I don't know if I've seen the fan base get hyped up about this team to the point where they're talking about Stanley Cup. I think maybe the fans remember 2017 too. I don't know, Dusty, what you've seen on the morning show, because on the few pre-games and post-games we've done, I haven't really seen, Stanley Cup or bust from the fan base. I haven't really seen that on Twitter. So maybe there's that, hesitation to be that excited.
Definitely. Yeah. No, definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
I do think one of Edmonton or Calgary will come out of the West. I think they'll have to end up playing a very good team in the East from the final, which could be a little bit of a concern. But I like both Calgary and Edmonton this year. I think they're both legitimate Stanley Cup contenders, which means the second round matchup, if it does happen, is going to be insane. And then obviously having to go through likely Colorado again will be a tall task for either of them. But I think both teams are built extremely well right now. So let's get to your Boston Pizza appetizer. Once again, there is that Boston Pizza right downtown, right across from Ring. So if you're heading down there tonight, you want to grab a bite to eat, go hit up the fine folks at Boston Pizza Kitty Corner across from the rink. Appy hour 2 to 5, and then again from 9 until close. So if you can get down there by about 4, hit that appy hour for about an hour before heading over to the game. Not a bad idea. And then again from 9 until close. Of course, if you're going to be down there, a bunch of Tuesday games this year, past the Tuesday as well. At all of your Boston Pizza locations, if you're looking for just a place to go watch the game tonight, obviously Boston Pizza lounges across the city are ready and waiting for you, very fired up. And what a start tonight here against the Vancouver Canucks, Tommy. And there's a couple of things we can discuss coming out of this, and we'll get to the homestand to start the season in just a second. But what are you expecting tonight in the home opener? First look at Jack Campbell, Jay Woodcroft's first home opener as a head coach coming in last year. High expectation. I think they play very well tonight, so I've got high expectations for tonight. Vancouver, not one of the top end teams in the West, but still have a goal to can certainly steal a game for you. But what are you expecting tonight from the Edmonton Oilers?
I expect the Oilers to go at the Canucks with their speed. The Canucks are kind of built as more of a grinded out type of team. And then if they'll get you on the power play. So if the Oilers are smart about things today, is they attack with speed against the Vancouver Canucks. And then on top of that, stay out of the penalty box, as I let Jason Gregor back into my building. Apologies there. So stay out of the penalty box, attack with speed with Jack Campbell. Let's see if he can continue to make the first 5 stops of the game and do it in a way where it looks routine, where he doesn't look like he's making a circus style save. And you're going, oh boy, this could be a fun night, an interesting one and wild one in the Oilers zone with the way the goaltending is playing, because there's those nights so many times last season and even the ones prior to that where, you would see kind of a routine shot and it almost goes in on Mike Smith, or a weak one would get by Mikko Koskinen. I think if Jack Campbell can make those first few routine saves, that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the group, settles the defense in, all of that, and lets them get into a groove and maybe start to get their leads and take the game to the opposition. And tonight, that is the Vancouver Canucks. So attack with speed, stay out of the box, and hopefully get those first few saves from Jack Campbell.
Yeah, we had somebody text in today and say, can you guys imagine Rogers Place tonight in your show tomorrow morning, if Jack Campbell lets in the first shot tonight, I just like, no, I can't imagine it. In fact, I've got a little wager on the Oilers scoring the first goal tonight. So I'm going complete opposite. New era between the pipes. I think the Oilers draw first blood tonight, and we'll get to all of that a little bit more here coming up in our Cool Bet segment a little bit later on. Tommy, they do open up with 6 at home here, and some good teams coming in, some quality teams rolling. St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Calgary among these teams coming in the first 6. How important is this 6-game homestand to kind of get the season off on the right foot?
Well, it'll help set the tone. But as we saw last season, Dusty, with the hot start, you can totally sewer it by having a terrible December and January. But you want to set the tone. You want to set the pace in the division. You want to be up there. So I think it has a lot of importance. But if they lose 2 of them and they lose to a good Carolina team, good Pittsburgh team, good Calgary team, it's not the end of the world. But I think depending on how they lose those games too, like if they look like crap and are backing into games, then that's a problem. And that's something that'll come up real quick. But if they play well, if they get, 3 or 4 wins on this homestand, I think that puts them into a good spot and sets them on their way on their first road trip. So yeah, it's crucial. But as we saw last year, I mean, a hot start's fantastic and it gives you a little bit of leeway. But you can also find ways to ruin it like the Oilers did, which I'm sure is on their minds going into this season as well, not to do it again.
What if they come through this 6 games at 3-3? How do you feel about that start?
People will be wondering what the heck's going on with them, and they'll be answering questions, but then they go on their first road trip, and I'm sure they'll be okay on it.
Yeah.
They get settled in. Let's see how they do in this first month before there's a freak out.
Oh, no. If they lose tonight to the Canucks, buddy, this city's going to be melting down tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah, the road trip there, very interesting, coming up after a 6-game homestand to start the season. That's your Boston Pizza Appetizer, Happy Hour daily from 2 until 5, and then again from 9 until close. So if you're looking for a place to hit after the game tonight, you can go hit up Boston Pizza and any of those Boston Pizza locations. Hey, before we get to what I've dubbed the Oil Stream Slick Pick, which will be my bet on the Oilers game tonight. Kulak, Barrie, Murray, Bouchard. I think a lot of us talked about it throughout the offseason, Tommy, that it'd be Kulak and Bouchard and then Barrie maybe with Murray or Niemelainen or whatever when he's called up. What are your thoughts on the second and third pairs on the blue line?
Yeah, I've been watching, the Bouchard-Murray pairing for the last few days and just kind of wondering, what's the rationale there?
Yeah.
It's Evan Bouchard took a step forward last season, but he's still a young defenseman. And maybe this is kind of a reminder of that, they're keeping the pressure off of him to a certain extent. And when he shows through his game this season, they'll elevate him, or maybe on matchups that they want, they'll bump him up to playing with Kulak again. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially if they're kind of letting him settle into the season. But to me, it's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of a reminder that Bouchard's a very young defenseman in the National Hockey League, and they want to ease him in. And that's kind of the understanding I have, or the way I perceive it. And if Murray could be a quiet, solidifying presence for Bouchard, then that's fine. And then if it's not working, guess what? You flip him again. No big deal. You can do it in game.
Yeah, really the only surprising thing about the lineup heading into game 1. I mean, if Yamamoto is healthy, probably be with McDavid and Kane, which is kind of what a lot of people expected. And then, let's see how that blue line pair. They got the ability to move those guys around. So that's a positive for them for sure. All right, let's dive into your Oil Stream Slick Pick. If you're looking to make a wager tonight, this is the play for me tonight on this hockey game. And on game days, we'll have the Slick Pick. On non-game days, we'll have Inside the Numbers for Cool Bet and dive into some other little, stats and things along those lines. But the Oil Stream Slick Pick tonight, and Tommy, you tell me if you think I'm crazy here. I'm rolling with Connor McDavid, over 1.5 assists tonight, and it's plus 149, which is pretty decent value. What's your level of confidence in my McDavid over 1.5 assists tonight?
Yeah, I'll put it at my level of confidence, 85%. So I like
good.
Your Oil Stream Slick Pick.
Yeah,
I think this is him ready to pop off again, have another strong season, could push for 130 points. What was the line? 82.5 for him assists this season. I went on
something
the under.
like that. Yeah.
You know what? If he's going to start off the right way, he's going to get the over on the 1.5 tonight. I think Oiler fans are in for a big night unless the Canucks can just grind them down. But I don't see that happening. So I'm with you. 85% confidence that it gets done, and I like your pick.
I imagine it being a even strength assist and a power play assist, and then maybe even more. But all I need to see is over 1.5 assists. So I don't care how he gets them. I don't care if they're at the beginning of the game, the end of the game, overtime, whatever. Oil Stream slick pick for game 1 of the Oilers season. Connor McDavid over 1.5 assists plus 149. You can find that at Coolbet right now. Go to coolbet.com to get in on that. But remember, stay cool, bet responsibly with our new partners at Coolbet. Tommy, pregame tonight. What do you got? What's the plan over at TSN 1260?
We got a 2-hour show right after the Jason Gregor show. We get into the pregame. Myself, Connor Halley, Matty Cassian will be along. And then we'll also have Irf Gafar from the fourth period. We'll have some audio. I sat down and talked to Darnell Nurse. And I talked to Brad Malone and his interesting journey back to the Oilers as well. He was great. And so we'll do that. And then we'll probably go to someone at the rink. Jason Gregor just popped in. Maybe go to him. Maybe go to you, Dusty. Maybe both. Who knows? We've got 2 hours to do whatever.
That's a long show. That's a long show. 2 hours. I want you to individually predict the points for every single player on the roster. You got 2 hours to do it tonight, Tommy. Every single player, make that happen. Can you do that for me?
I can do it, but then I know somebody's going to save all those clips and they're going to track me down at the end of the season and tell me how dumb I was at the start of the year. And I'll be like, you know what? I was dumb to do that. And you're right.
All right, Tommy. Well, you look like a social media influencer right now, so get us out of here today.
Oh, get out of here, you. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button. Game day, baby. Let's go.